In this video, we're going to take this boring hero section for this website and turn it into a full-blown experience with a parallax effect, just like this. All of this created in Framer with no code, set up in just a few moments with this step-by-step Framer parallax tutorial. Let's get started. So I got my brand new blank project open in Framer, and I'm going to head over to Design Pages. In here, I'll import all of my image assets, and we'll just store them in here, since this doesn't create a web page. So this is my original background image that I had AI create. And I'm gonna have AI now break this up into different transparent layers so that we can create a nice professional parallax effect in Framer. All right, so now I've got all four of my images here in this design page. What I like to do with my parallax effect is I have one focal point, which is the mountain, and I usually like to have this stretch the full screen. That way I can interact with the website, like have text slide behind it and kind of disappear. And then I like to have a foreground element. So we'll have these rocks in the foreground. I'll set the background with the page color itself. And then to really show depth, I like to have a background element. So since the mountain is the focal point, we'll have these clouds. They'll go behind the mountain as we scroll down. And then I have these clouds that will go in front of the mountain. So we basically have 4 layers of depth, not including the background, and all of these will be moving at different speeds as we scroll to create this parallax effect. So at this point, let's go ahead and go to Pages, and let's start with our home page. This is generated as soon as we make our project, and I like to increase the width a little bit, so I'm gonna go with 1312 pixels. That is my go-to, and we'll just leave the height alone at 1000. For now, we'll just change it to a random blue color to kind of mimic a sky, and we'll start importing each one of those 4 image layers into our actual page of our website. I'm going to start with the mountain just because that's the main area. I'm going to paste that in, and you'll see our canvas stretches to the height of this so that it fills nicely. And since we're working with a lot of images in this, I'm actually going to make sure I rename my layers for once. I'll just call this mountain, and I'll just repeat that for the rest of our layers. All right, so as I paste those in, you'll see that they're all stacked vertically now. And that's because by default, our canvas has a stack of vertical, which is fine for now. To place each one of the images, I'm just gonna select it, and we need to change the position type from relative to absolute. And that will allow us to position this on the website with these hard values here. And we'll begin to build out our image. So now I have all of my layers in order. You'll notice that each one of these images is not exactly in the right order, and that's because we need to go here and set the Z index. This is how we're going to get that depth effect, and we can set each individual image on their own Z index to ensure that they are always on top of each other in the correct order. Since the mountain is going to be kind of my center point, we need to figure out what's going to go behind that, and the only thing we have behind that is the back clouds. So we're going to make sure their Z index is set to 1. Then our mountain, since it's in front, we'll set that to a Z index of 2. Our front clouds will be set to 3. And then our rocks being in the foreground will be set to 4, ensuring that all of our layers are in the correct order. The next step to this is placing our elements and making sure they are pinned correctly with their absolute positioning. To do that, we need to give this section a bit of height, so we have room for the user to actually scroll through the section. So we need to determine the height of the section that we want. So I'm going to go with around 1500 pixels. And this is going to be the height of this section. We also need to think about how this is going to work with responsive viewport heights. So an average viewport height is like 800 to 950. So if I were to preview this now, and we were to set this to 950, this is what the website would look like when the user loaded it up. We have this blue gap down here at the bottom, and we never want that to happen. That breaks our parallax effect completely. We always want to make sure this mountain is never above this line. So to make sure this is nice and responsive, so what we're going to do is select all of our images, right click, and add a frame. So now they're inside of this frame. If I turn the opacity down, you'll see everything disappears. We're going to call this hero section. And what we're going to do with this hero section is set the height of this to the viewport. So 100 viewport. So no matter what the user scales their viewport to, this is going to be the height of that. And I always like to add this so that I don't forget. I want to add a minimum height. So minimum height of something like 800 pixels. You can play around with this. I just don't want this to be smaller than that. So I always like to add that because I never remember to come back and do it. So now we have this at 800 pixel minimum. So it's always going to be 800 pixels. And if it's larger than that, so if the viewport is way down here, it's going to scale the section to that viewport. So you can even see what I'm talking about. I'm going to select the hero section and I'm going to add a fill of white. So you can see our entire site has that blue background, but this section is going to scale to that viewport just like so. And it can't get any smaller than 800. For now, I'll just leave it as white so you guys can see it. So for designing this, I'm going to scale it to its largest section, which is 1500, and that's where I'm going to position all of our elements. For example, this first element, the rocks, are in the foreground. I want them to be always on the bottom. So these are not going to move whatsoever. They're just going to be locked down here at the bottom, 0, 0, 0, pinned to the bottom and the sides. So as we scroll, they're always going to be at the bottom of this section. Now for the mountain, I'm going to go to preview and I'm just going to set it to 950, which is like the average largest for a view. And I'm going to make sure that at 950, this mountain is down below these rocks. So we'll just slide that down. Same thing. Okay, that looks good. So from here, we can decide how far down we want this. I'm going to push the mountain down just a hair more. And then I'm going to go to the effects and start by adding a scroll speed. And for this, Parallax, you need to think of how it works in real life. The closer the element is to you, the faster it's going to move. The further away, the slower. So since this mountain is behind this element right here that has no movement, so this is like our baseline, this is going to be slightly slower than that. So I would put it at something like 80%. It's up to you how fast you want this effect to do. You can make it lower or faster. Just play around with it. So now if we scroll down, you'll see the mountain moves at a different speed than our baseline, which is our rocks. So that's pretty good for now. Now we'll play with the clouds. So I want one of the clouds to always kind of be behind the mountain. So we're going to set their initial position pretty low. So I'll put them about right there. And we're going to add their scroll speed. And for this one, we want it to be really slow since it's the furthest away from us. So we'll set it to 30% and see how that looks. It's not bad. I actually kind of want to move them up just a little bit more. Right there. And then for the front clouds, let's move those down. And their scroll speed is going to be pretty fast, so we'll do 90%. All right, and real quickly, I have this pinned all the way to the bottom, of course, and then our mountain is pinned to the top and the sides. The clouds are pinned to the top and the sides, and so are these other clouds in the back. So everything but this bottommost element over here is pinned to the top and the sides. If you had an element that is not full width, if you'll notice all of my images are, just to make this a lot easier, instead of having it pinned to the top, left, and right, you could just pin it to the top and left, or whatever it's closest to. If it's down here, I'd pin it to the bottom and the left. So now that we have that, we've essentially created the maximum height of this section, because we don't want to ever have a gap between this water and these rocks. We can just move these up until that gap goes away, which is about right there. Then I'm going to hold Option or Alt with that rock selected, and we see we have 508 pixels of wasted space down here. So this is going to make the maximum height of our section. So what I'm going to do is select the hero section. I'm going to add a max height, and I'm going to change it to fixed value, so that allows me to do pixels. And we designed this on a 1500 height area, so we'll do that minus, I want to say it was 508, but I can't remember. Let me double check. Yes, okay. So that minus 508 gives us 992. And we want to make sure our rocks are set to 0 and pin to the bottom. And everything else should be fine the way it was. Looks good. So now if we select our hero section, you can see that our viewport cannot get any higher than 992, and it cannot get any smaller than 800. So that ensures that no matter what size viewport, this effect never breaks. So it's important that we get that set up early on, because this is going to save us a lot of headache later. So I like to do that. If you want this viewport to be larger than 992, like if you want a very long parallax effect, you're going to need to start with a source image that is much taller than this. Since our image is wider than it is tall, we don't have a lot of room to play with, aka we don't have a lot of stuff going on in the image to kind of like pass us by. So just make sure that you do a taller image if you want more than the movement we have, where it just kind of condenses here. With that, you have pretty much everything you need to set up a clean parallax effect in Framer. I went ahead and added a navigation and some text with 0% scroll speed so it stays still. And with that, we have something that looks like this. Obviously, a few more things thrown in there with some smooth scrolling and having this opacity come through, which is just another scroll effect. But paired with that parallax effect, it just makes the site look so much more professional. Hope you enjoyed today's video. Special thanks to Framer for sponsoring today's video and making it possible. If you want to check out Framer, I have a link at the top of the description. As always, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.